You are the longest-serving basic education minister in the country. This is now your 10th year, in 2019. Are you thinking of coming back into the ministry once we've done elections?
That's not in my hands.
But would you like to come back to the ministry?
I just don't want to sell myself. I don't want tomorrow to say, hey, she didn't want to come, and here she finds herself. I really don't want to get into the space. It's not in my control. If ANC says go, I will go. If they say go back, I'll go back. So it's not a discussion that I really want to make it as part of a public discussion.
So you wouldn't say that it's time for a younger person, perhaps?
No, as I say, it's not a discussion. It's a discussion that I will enter with the ANC, not with the media and the public. Really, it's a discussion that I want to leave with the ANC. I might say that, I may not say it.
So you don't think that 10 years is enough?
No, I'm saying that discussion, in other way you put it, I'm going to repeat the same thing. It's a discussion I can enter with the ANC.
But not with us?
Yeah.
So your legacy in the 10 years that you've been minister has been marred by a lot of bad situations, such as pit toilets, children dying in pit toilets, for instance, the department being dragged to court for what, a lot of parents would assume is an obvious thing of, making sure that children have textbooks, for instance, your long fight with Section 27 and equal education, where you have to be dragged to court to do what you need to do.
I really don't want to be defensive and say sometimes it's misinformed battles. As a Minister of Education on textbooks, I make policies and prescribe books. I don't deliver books. So the Limpopo thing was just completely unfortunate. Even now, I don't know why journalists are not asking if books are not, say in a province that we don't run, like Western Cape, if books are not there, it's not the minister. The budget for buying books goes to provinces. So if books have not arrived in schools, people who have the responsibility to buy have to be held accountable. It's just that it was just tiring to be saying to media, it's not my responsibility. I just thought they would know, but unfortunately they didn't know that it's not my responsibility. When Section 27 went up and down the streets, and it's their work, I think that's how they make a living, to really look at where the faults are and get to that. In terms of pit latrines, I think for me it's also a very sad situation that we had to find ourselves, kids dying in our hands, not only in pit latrines, through violence, just very sad and unfortunate situations that I find them completely regrettable. But I also don't want to underestimate that one child is one too many. But if you have 12 million kids in your care, unfortunately some like these accidents happen. So pit latrines, this government, not Angie, we didn't build pit latrines. We found pit latrines. And we have been on a journey to clear them out. Unfortunately, we've not been able to clear them off all at the same time. It's financial constraints, it's also technical constraints, not because of lack of care. And yeah, so I'm not saying we should not take responsibility that we still have pit latrines in schools, but you should also bear in mind that we've not built pit latrines as this government. We've been eradicating them over a period of time. But as I say, whilst many pit latrines have been eradicated, we still have some, and unfortunately we have those incidents that are there. And to say 10 years mad by 2 kids falling in the pit latrines out of 12 million, I just think we're exaggerating issues and just taking things out of proportion. One is one too many, but just don't say a 10-year legacy has been marred by 2 falling. There are lots of things we've achieved as this administration and as this government. We've achieved a lot.
We went to Limpopo recently, and we still find pit latrines. And I understand that you're saying that it's not the ANC government that built those pit latrines, but we're going back now to the question I asked you earlier about when, because 10 years is a long time, Minister, it's a decade. 25 is even longer for the ANC government. What is taking so long? Why are there still children, small children, who have to use pit toilets? For instance, your constitutional mandate says you need to give people human dignity and human rights. So you're failing those children, those teachers, and even those communities who become vulnerable and really, they become really shocked at the fact that there's a child that they have to bury at the age of 7 after falling in a pit toilet. How long, when do we say we've done it?
It can never be not our history. We're never going to reach a state to say it's not our history, right? Because as I say, we inherited them, so it's going to be our history. So our history is going to remain there with us forever. But even again, unless you want me to lie to say in 10 years South Africa will be perfect, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm saying to you, it's a journey that we're going to be confronting, but to give deadlines to say, I know in 10 years I think will be, I won't do it.
No,
it's not even a grain of
it's not sorting out. It's not sorting out education, and it's not rectifying what the previous government did. It's going, as the education ministry, following your constitutional mandate to offer human dignity and human rights to the people who go to that school, whether that's learners or the teachers. I know it won't sort out the legacy of apartheid, but it'll at least, and it won't sort out education because there's many problems, as you said, in the department, but it will at least offer your mandate in your own forms, the educational mandate.
No, you choose one mandate. I have all mandates. I have a mandate to provide access to education. Yes. So which means what I'm saying, on the pit latrines, be at peace. That will sort. But if you want to talk about my mandate, that's why I'm saying you're mixing big things and other things. My mandate is bigger than toilets or that dignity.
With the financial part of it, provincially and nationally, education is one of the 2 departments that get the biggest chunk in the budget. So it still wasn't enough.
It wasn't, obviously. That's why we had to, what we've done, we've reprioritized budget, we had to get a special budget, we had to go fundraising to get the private sector to help us. It was, even when the president said, please eradicate, we didn't have money in the budget.
All right. So, Minister, when it comes to the infrastructure at schools, well, first of all, you were saying that, one of the other parts of your mandate is to offer quality education to all. Are you satisfied with the education that you're offering to everybody around the country?
No. And that's why, others, if everything was perfect, we would not even be here in the Makotas. So there are ongoing challenges. Safety is also a quality issue to make sure that we have safety in our schools. Learner well-being is not where it is. We still have high infections among young people. We have children with special needs not fully serviced because one of the key things is, again, the institutions that were then, expertise that are there in the country to be able to service, especially your profound disabilities. So it's an ongoing struggle. So I can't sit here and say, no, just think all is well. No, we're doing our best. We think we're on an upward trajectory. I think we're making progress, but we still have lots of challenges. And that's what we keep on telling the South African public.
So we have to wrap up, Minister. And I just wanted to ask you basically by when, what I'm saying is, when does the country come back and say and hold a government accountable when it comes to infrastructure at schools that are existing already, that have had problems and that have already voiced out their grievances, whether it's parents, communities, or the teachers themselves? When do they come back then to the government and hold you accountable and say, but you said until this time?
No, the country should also know that as much as they give education money, they don't have enough money to sort out the problems that confront them. So the money that we have as government is money that we get from society. So we account for the money to say, as education department, we have 7 billion for the budget. We have to pay rent, pay water. This is what we're left with, and this is what we're going to be. So they can assess us as if they've given us an open bank and then we ran away from the bank. There are also material conditions. So the committee itself has to take responsibility for the fact that together with them, we're dealing with the legacy of apartheid. It's very stubborn. It's creating sometimes new problems. And with them, we have to walk the path to say, how do we deal with it?